Good afternoon. Our speaker is a passionate person. He always has been, and says he always will be. His passion is one of the things that motivates him as our mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, here to deliver the state of our city, please welcome the Mayor of Biloxi, the Honorable Andrew Fofo Gillich.
Get crunk, you know. It's not for me today, it's for the saints. So there is a bright lining to everything. We talked with the city council and some of our folks about how things happen. But George, you know, the saints, that's a special thing that happened to us, but maybe next year. So, welcome to Biloxi. Welcome to our state of the city. Let me say a couple of things first, a little housekeeping, but I see my cousins from Keesler, General Leahy, Colonel Lovett, Colonel Stanton, everybody from the 81st, 2nd Air Force, thank you. But my brother Mayor, my bad brother Billy Hughes is here. Billy, I thank you for being here. You know, we just came back from Colombia, right, Billy? And now we've performed on 2 continents and Cuba. So I got the name of the band. We're going to call it Coast, right? So thank you for being here, Billy. Thank you for everything you do. Again, part of my speech is our partnerships. And our sister city, Gulfport, and everybody around is just a big part of the success that we're going to talk a little bit about today. This marks my 4th time to deliver this address. And you might know that I'm more excited today than I was in May in 2015 when I first became your mayor. Today, Biloxi is a teeming environment of accomplishment, excitement, anticipation, not hope, but expectation. We have miles of rebuilt roads and sidewalks in place, and many more miles of new water, sewer, and storm drains beneath them. The new West Biloxi Boardwalk is hopping, and the second half of it will come online this year. New hotels and new attractions are under construction or about to be. So, but let me say, all of this has given Biloxi its own gravity that attracts developers to City Hall nearly every day. Eager to make their mark in a rapidly evolving Biloxi that promises opportunity and prosperity. There's much work yet to do, but we're in the final act of the infrastructure work north of the railroad. At the same time, the curtain is going up on newer, bigger development along our waterfront, from East Biloxi to West Biloxi, downtown, and across the bay. Last year, we told you about planning and construction. Today, we're going to show you the results and discuss more exciting things that are in the works. But before I go further, let me acknowledge and give special thanks to everyone who helped us in our progress. First of all, none of this could have happened without the support of Biloxi City Council. I thank you for always keeping Biloxi and its citizens in your heart, and for being thoughtful and reasonable in your decision making. You know, in 43 months, I don't really remember any real argument, right, George? I did take my shoe off once or twice, but it's been fun, and I really mean that. So it was just a tremendous pleasure to work with each and every one of you. We have great partnerships with our sister cities, our county, our state, and federal government. We continue to expand our comprehensive relationship with Keesler Air Force Base by building a new main gate and an entrance boulevard that befits the greatest military installation in the United States. We're also thankful to our private partners, the visionary, innovative developers who kickstart our resurrection. To those now swept up in the wave of possibility and promise. In 2018, Biloxi hosted the Navy Blue Angels for 2 days of high performance and precision flying. Over 150,000 people enjoyed the Blues over Biloxi. The weekend saw our hotels 97% occupancy, plus a little bump in other revenue, if you know what I mean. But pretty impressive. After that, you can almost guess what's next. With a whole lot of help from Team Keesler, our Keesler cousins, we went to work in trying to get the Air Force Thunderbirds back. That's going to happen this year. But we almost got them back twice.
Hi, I'm Colonel Deborah Lovett. I'm the commander of the 81st Training Wing at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I am thrilled to announce that we will be hosting an air show on May 4th and 5th, 2019, right here at Keesler Air Force Base. We're excited because this is the first air show in over 4 years. And so we are thrilled to host you on our base.
Hello, I'm Mayor Fofo Gillich of Biloxi. We had such a great time hosting the Navy Blue Angels in 2018 that the city invited the Air Force Thunderbirds to Biloxi for an air show on the beach, May 4th and 5th, 2019.
4th and 5th? That's the same time we're having our air show, Mayor. We can't have an air show at the same time.
But Colonel, we've got the Thunderbirds already set to fly on the beach. What can we do to fix this?
For the first time ever, Keesler will be partnering with the beautiful city of Biloxi to host a joint air show.
That's right, we'll be working together to give the coast an air show to remember. On Keesler, you'll be able to see aircraft static displays up close and personal.
And in the afternoon, just a few minutes away from Keesler Air Force Base, you'll see amazing aerial acts, to include the Air Force Thunderbirds.
So join us May 4th and 5th
for Thunder Over the Sound, the Keesler and Biloxi Air and Space Show.
All right. Listen, I'm looking around on the tables, and I've got to acknowledge all my aunts and my cousins and nieces and nephews in my family. My wife Serena of over 50 years, my favorite son-in-law Keith, my daughter Rachel, my future son-in-law Noah, Gretchen, and did I say Rachel? But my son Andy, it happens to be his birthday, so happy birthday, Andy. Of course, everyone that has made all of these things happen are out there, so I congratulate you and I thank you for everything we've been able to accomplish. I'm just up here as a mouthpiece, but listen, I'm so proud to be here pushing it forward for our city. I'm still pumped up about the Thunderbirds. So put your tray tables in an upright and locked position, fasten your seatbelts, and get ready to take a ride. And I'll join you in just a few minutes. When you look at the big picture from 30,000 feet, you better appreciate what's happening at ground level. The core function of city government is to provide quality of life, basic services, public safety, police and fire, recreational opportunities for our citizens, young and old, water and sewer, streets and drainage. To be successful, it takes ongoing, smart planning, 5, 10, 20-year plans that will yield development that creates jobs and be a credit to our city. Much talk has been about the last one, streets and drainage, particularly in East Biloxi, better known as the North Contract. I took office in the middle of 2015. Contractors had milled up nearly 55 miles of streets. That's essentially every street north of the railroad tracks in East Biloxi. I said milled up, not torn up. That means every bit of road surface, concrete, asphalt, sidewalk, whatever, was removed and disposed of. It left nothing. If you lived, worked, or traveled there, Everything was either dirty and dusty, wet and muddy, or potholed and bumpy. How did it happen? Here's how. The contract allowed the contractor to tear up 55 miles of streets all at once and get paid for it. It was easy for them and terrible for Biloxi. Almost immediately, I requested to be briefed on critical path documents, defining how and when each part of this project would be completed during the 1,000 plus days remaining in the contract. The contract allowed them to do the easiest, most profitable things first. Deep sewer work, then storm drain work should have been done first. Yet 90% of the water system was installed by the end of 2015. Nothing made sense. I was dealt this hand, but committed to playing it the best way it can be played. Let's set the hand and the players. The North contract, about $125 million, was broken up into 12 areas with 7 different design engineering firms. The city, the contractors, and each firm had their own legal group. Do you see the problems with that? It is Biloxi's project and financial responsibility. According to procedures and the contract, the city pays for the work by pay application from the contractor. A whole lot of checking, cross-checking, and time goes by before the city is reimbursed. All this in my first few weeks in office, so welcome aboard, Mr. Mayor. Let's talk about cash flow. At the time I took office, Biloxi was owed about $17 million in FEMA reimbursements for infrastructure work that it had already paid for. There were bills from contractors that sat unpaid. Things could have easily come to a halt. On top of all of that, the program management firm that the city hired to oversee the work ran through its $22 million funding about halfway through the project it was to oversee. We quickly set about getting things in order. With the support of our city council, we spent about $750,000 of the city's money on temporary paving to relieve some of the mess that was caused. We borrowed about $11 million to pay overdue contractor invoices to keep work continuing. We established bi-weekly meetings with MEMA and FEMA to ensure that there was a logical work schedule with timely reimbursement and advanced funding. As far as program management, we were forced to do that in-house. We built up our team and now have 3 engineers with advanced degrees in engineering on engineering services. Christy Lebertard, Director of Engineering, Walt Rohde, Program Manager, Mike Leonard, Chief Administrative Officer. All options to expedite completion of the work were examined, even replacing the contractor. That could have cost the city millions more. Stopped work immediately, delayed completion up to 18 more months, and caused numerous legal actions. We have worked with the contractor and progress has been made. After years of dirt, dust, mud, and standing water, the vast majority of the 55 miles of streets have base asphalt on them, with the last 2 inches finishing coat underway. Curbing and sidewalks are installed, and landscaping is underway. Still, there are some milled up streets, but we are nearing the finish line. We inherited oversight of a runaway project, but established focus, accountability, and urgency. We've paid off most of that $11 million short-term loan. We're in the process of getting repaid for our in-house program management work, inspection work, and temporary paving. Be assured, the kinds of mistakes and experiences we had in the North contract have been noted and will never be repeated. There is value in that. There are 3 phases of the South contract, south of the tracks. First phase of the South contract has begun. That contract was crafted to minimize the disruption. That's not to say it won't have its challenges, but no milling, and the contractor will move to a new area only when they are at least 75% complete with the area they're in. And again, no wholesale disruption, and you won't see endless delays. Like in the North contract, we have already uncovered gas and water lines that were not charted, but we worked through that. We've run into banks of fiber optic cables that were not on any plans. By the cemetery, we uncovered human remains from long ago. FEMA, MEMA, the state archives, and history folks put us on hold for more than 6 months, but we keep moving forward. Design of the second phase of the South contract is complete, and I'm pleased to announce today that we'll be accepting bids for that work. Work is to begin this summer, essentially from downtown to Point Cadet, south of the railroad tracks.
The third phase of the south contract near downtown and the casinos, and the west contract past Cicero Manor will finish the $355 million Katrina infrastructure project. Let me note a few things about this huge undertaking. In 1957, the city's sewer system was installed, along with the accompanying streets and drains, primarily on the peninsula. It was supposed to last 25 years. When complete, we will have replaced all of that work, decades overdue. In addition, the use of gravity in the sewer system design will have eliminated nearly 75 lift stations, reducing the risk of disruption of sewer service caused by hurricanes and other disasters. Bottom line, Biloxi will be set for the next 100 years. It will be quite an accomplishment. This year will mark the 20th anniversary of Biloxi's Wool Market annexation. Today, nearly 1,800 of the 3,100 homes and businesses in Wool Market now have access to city water and/or sewer. Public Works crews can be seen doing the things that you would expect as a citizen of Biloxi. Of course, one of the first things that the city did after annexation was to introduce its police and fire protection to Wool Market. That is ongoing and high priority. We have completed a comprehensive engineering master plan that identified about $35 million in improvements needed to bring city quality services to the annexed areas. We're not going to get there overnight, but we're going to get there. This year, we will bring 2 new fire stations to Cedar Lake and Wool Market. The Cedar Pops facility will also have a 3,000 square foot fire command and training component. The second station is located on Old Highway 67. An innovative form of financing through and with the South Mississippi Planning and Development District was used. We're in the final phase of building expansion and exterior renovation of the Wool Market City Center, located on Cayley Cove. It now houses a branch of the Harrison County Public Library, and the county will be funding landscaping and parking lot improvements. It will be a great venue for community gatherings and special events. Anyone who runs a business will agree that your employees make you and your business successful. In my opinion, it's the same for the city of Biloxi. Since the arrival of gaming in 1992 and annexation 2 years later, our workforce, Team Biloxi, has nearly doubled in size. Every one of them play an important role. Of the current 667 city employees, 101 of them are eligible for retirement, and half of those eligible for retirement are in the police and fire departments. City employees, our human resources, account for almost 70% of the city's annual operating budget. It's important that we have well-trained, well-equipped, dedicated, and hard-working people in all of our departments, especially the ones on the front lines: police and fire, public works, parks and recreation, engineering, and community development. In the past 18 months, almost 50 employees have retired. That represents hundreds of years of combined service to our city. Their experience will be hard to replace. A significant retirement this month was one of the leadership team in the fire department, Battalion Chief Michelle Crowley. She is the third female firefighter in the history of the department, the first female firefighter to earn the rank of Battalion Chief, and now is the first female firefighter to retire from the Biloxi Fire Department. She served as the emergency manager, where she raised the awareness of hurricane warning sirens. She helped capture and coordinate almost $2 million in state and federal grants for the department. I thank and congratulate Michelle, as well as all of our retirees, on their record of service to Biloxi. It will be a challenge to keep Team Biloxi at a level of dedication and experience that our citizens have come to expect. It's important that we maintain our professionalism and quality of service. We continue to be vigilant in oversight of city finances. The AA- bond rating reflects our financial condition and financial practices. With the support of our City Council, budgets have been conservative but realistic in both revenues and expenditures. It's always a moving target, but we have performed to the operational budget. In fact, for each of the last 3 fiscal years,
we ended the year receiving more revenue than expenses paid. That means more cash in the bank at the end of the year than we had at the beginning. Increased fund balance sums it up. Our outstanding financial performance encouraged our City Council to approve my recommendation of a $14 million bond issue for critical projects throughout the city. That was done without increasing tax millage to service the debt. Work on the radar includes Wool Market drainage, sidewalks, and infrastructure, right-of-way acquisition for the pending Pops Ferry extension to US 90 and future new Pops Ferry Bridge, citywide paving and infrastructure repairs, Cedar Lake Bridge repairs now closed to heavy vehicles like fire trucks, state funding match for the Main Street Railroad crossing, and other works as far as we can take it. Creativity, innovation, cooperation, partnering in many forms has gotten our city off the mark, pushing it forward, building momentum. Let me mention some of the things that have already happened, projects underway or on the drawing board that are bringing us to levels we only imagined. And how about the West Biloxi Boardwalk?
If there were any doubts that the newly constructed West Biloxi Boardwalk would do what it was designed for, just ask the tourists.
Good catch.
This was a good weekend for sports tourism on the coast. And with help from the new boardwalk, West Biloxi is becoming a good place to gather for some extracurricular fun with the family.
It just makes things so much easier, just trying to get yourself down to the beach, having access to that boardwalk, and it's tremendous for us.
Estefania Johnson and her family are here for a swimming competition and found the signs to the boardwalk by chance.
We were just driving by and we're like, oh, that'll be a cute spot to stop with the kids.
It's a 1 mile long stretch of walkway with its educational kiosks, benches, and attractive lights. It helps you and our millions of visitors enjoy the beauty of our area. It brings us closer to the water and the waterfront. The second half of the boardwalk from Veterans to Camellia is ready to bid. We've also had a great response to the opening of the Pops Ferry Causeway Park. This project has been 35 years in the making. This 10-acre site has produced a back-to-nature recreational habitat enhanced by a bait shop, daiquiri bar, and kayak rentals. It's part of a vision for what Biloxi can be, and is becoming. It's about moving Biloxi forward while keeping it safe, friendly, and beautiful. Back to the east. New pedestrian walkways downtown will link the thousands of hotel rooms south of the highway with our rebooted downtown. Visitors will soon be using the crosswalk at MGM Park. By the end of the year, a second one will open connecting the small craft harbor with the Main Street Town Green. That brings us to hotels. 2 new hotels, the 100-room Hilton Garden Inn and the 138 all-suite Watermark are expected to be open for business by mid-year. The Secretary of State has given the green light to the Margaritaville expansion, a $200 million project with a hotel tower, a Ferris wheel as part of a multi-million-dollar amusement park, all south of US 90, and a hotel and water park north of the highway. Right now, the easternmost point of Point Cadet, forms are being constructed, rebar being placed, and concrete being poured, replacing that crumbling bulkhead. It will be another boardwalk, a concrete promenade actually, that will link Point Cadet Marina and the Golden Nugget, around the tip of the peninsula, under the bridge, past the Seafood and Maritime Industry Museum, all the way to the Palace Casino Resort. Let me give a special thanks to the Harrison County Board of Supervisors for partnering with us to get things moving on many projects, current and future, especially those along the waterfront. Every day, our development team objectively examines means and methods to push Biloxi forward in the right way, build a brand, ensure what we love in our city survives and thrives for another 320 years. Our City Council has played an enormous role in the success we've seen. Developers and business folks that have been kicking the tires have seen that the city has put skin in the game. Ground conditions have changed and significant things have come to pass. How ugly was the old federal courthouse? How long did it sit there? Years. Do you notice it's gone? Community Bank closed on the property. They're finishing plans to move their headquarters to the southwest corner, with the rest of it open for development. We're excited about the design, and to make it even better, we're adding on-street parking on Howard and Lemieux Street to make it a more functional streetscape. We appreciate the bank's support during Biloxi's Cruising the Coast block party this past October. Not far away is the Fritz development, coming out of the ground, with market rate housing and retail space spurred by the city's incentives. The same thing occurred at the former McKiston Hall site on Howard Avenue, north of the MGM Park. Machado Patano Engineering relocated its office in this dynamic remodeling. It also has 3 retail spaces available for lease. One of those spaces will house the Mardi Gras Museum and the Gulf Coast Carnival office. The museum is moving from the city's old Magnolia Hotel. You will recall it was leased for a new restaurant and more retail space. Incentives enable these projects. They're policy decisions the city makes based on a plan to initiate the redevelopment and repopulation of downtown. Let me say, the big hitter is Howard Avenue. From the day we announced the return of two-way traffic with its new brick dance floor, the amount of interest we saw from developers was surprising. The linchpin, the redeveloped Bark Building. It promises to be an invigorating multi-use renovation in the heart of a Howard Avenue entertainment district. At full build-out, plans call for 230,000 square feet of shops, restaurants, bars, local breweries, 331, 2- and 3-bedroom residential units, and 20,000 square feet of office space. Convention Center. That idea resurfaced during one of the waterfront meetings at City Hall. Imagine a convention center retail entertainment complex in the middle of thousands of hotel rooms. In fact, a private investor, with direction from the city, is funding a study of the idea of an East Biloxi Convention Center. It will be purely objective, determining if, what, where, when, and how it can be done. It was considered a decade ago and is worth the analysis of its potential. Another evolving location is the Edgewater Mall, where you can find 1 million square feet of retail and entertainment. We saw the Premier Cinema, a state-of-the-art digital movie theater, open, and the Sky Zone Trampoline Center is on the way. The mall is also developing out parcels that will include the upscale Brick and Spoon restaurant. We need more grocery stores, right? In the east and the west. We've identified available parcels and sites and are actively seeking developers. From 30,000 feet or from a newly paved street, you can see progress popping all around. You'll see much more this year, including the new main gate to Keesler Air Force Base and enhanced Division Street Boulevard from I-110 to Forest Avenue. Keesler has been a major part of our city for almost 8 decades, and its mission continues to grow, as does the relationship between the city and the base. As we flesh out projects underway and move others from the drawing board to dirt, we'll always protect and enhance the Biloxi brand. It's recognized around the world. A place loaded with friendly, hardworking, fun-loving, and proud people. I'm an optimistic person. I'm easily excited. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I was raised just like the rest of you Biloxi originals, to work hard, play hard, and appreciate what we have. Have no doubt that we'll make things better for our children, our grandchildren, and those to come in the future, all who join our ranks. All right, join me in giving a special thanks. Now, this is a surprise to Celia and Vincent. to our public information department. They use all their skills and abilities to put this great program together. So I thank you and I appreciate it, what you've done. And those pictured there, Cecilia Dobbs Walton and Vincent, I don't mean to argue, Creel and Rennie Sherman. So I thank you for everything. So we have a vision and we'll continue to be ambitious and realistic in making its goals. We talked about partnerships and cooperation that it takes to be successful. And we're going to rely on you, the people here today. Be part of the excitement. Know what's going on in your city. And I know many of you are not afraid to speak up. Not to be Bill Nye the Science Guy, but force equal mass time acceleration. Biloxi has significant mass, and it is accelerating. And like a freight train, when it gets going, it will be hard to stop. So thank you for your support and your involvement, and we are Biloxi. It's going to take us to push our beloved Biloxi in the right way forward so that those who will follow us will feel the same way we do about the spot we call our home. God bless you, and God bless Biloxi. Thank you very much.
Stay dry.